Hello, everybody. I'm happy to be here today, and let's talk and discuss the topic of hanging on to mistake, or should you be hanging on to a mistake just because you've been doing it for very long? Should you stick with something that's not working for you, but you had invest time and money and effort and emotions, but it looks like it's not working out? On the other hand, maybe you spend months, years on somebody, because we're talking mostly about relationships here. So maybe you spend uh, months and years on somebody just to realize that it's not gonna work, it's not the best choice for you, and um, are you gonna be a quitter? So if you um, stop right now, if you will walk away, would that make you a quitter? Would you be that person that gives up? Or is it a situation where you should walk away as fast as you can, take some breaths, take a break, and then start over? Very often we get these two mixed up, and there is also, the social pressure, the feeling of guilt. And a lot of times, guys, I get letters about men asking me that, oh my gosh, I've invested so much money traveling overseas, flying, uh, spending time with a woman, and after all, it's not, I discovered some things I really don't like. I'm not sure we're that compatible. I've invested so much time and money, maybe, and our relationship did not progress. Maybe we are wrong for each other. Um, but also there are some obvious things. Like I have friends here in US. I have one particular friend. He got married with a woman, and he he knew that she had already cheated several times on him before the wedding. He already knew that, but he still felt pressured to get married, and he didn't want to be the bad guy. But would he be a quitter if he would say, "Hey," when he realized what she was up to before the marriage? Would he be a quitter, or would he just be a smart move to say, "Hey, live your life and leave me alone"? I have a friend also who, not a friend, but somebody I know, that were about to get married to a very abusive man, and her mom was saying, don't marry him. He's doesn't, he treats you in an awful way. But she said, well, I've already got my wedding dress. It's $2,000. So stuff like that really blows my mind. And all of us maybe at least once been in a situation where we had a mental debate whether would the situation make us look irresponsible if we stop and quit the relationship and walk away, or would that actually be a smart choice that we should do anyway? And that situation just proves that that's a wrong way, wrong move. I have also very dear friends from my book club. There is a couple, and there is a lady who was married for 33 years to a man that was abusive and just wasn't right for her. And she's this bubbly fun person. She's right now in her late 50s, and she looks like she's in her 40s. She's amazing, she's bubbly, she's very life loving. But all the 33 years she was holding this pain inside. She felt, you know divorce is a bad thing. There is social pressure, family, all kinds of things. And for 33 years she basically lived in jail, and now she's happily married for 7 years, and she just lives her life out loud. She's so lively, and she's full of joy, and it's a blessing to be around her. So that is a question. If she would walk away from that marriage early, when she was 16, when she was getting married, maybe when she was 17 or 18, or if she would share that her husband was abusive, and in all the ways, as far as I understood, uh, who got the right to judge you and tell you that, oh, you're a quitter, or oh, you give up on things. You are the one to judge, you're the one to decide. And we are the ones that have to make deep we have to analyze deeply our situation. Nobody can do it for us. Nobody can step into our shoes and live our life, and feel our skin and feel the way we feel when we go to bed. So with working with my clients, many men I talk to tell me that they were actually holding on to their marriage that wasn't working out at all. They were deeply miserable, and they were the one that in a way were begging to not get a divorce. So this is so heartbreaking. And my main point, guys, just because for some reason, for whatever reason, you were holding on for what's not working for you, for what's holding you back, what makes you feel shut down, that you don't feel like yourself around, in that situation, in that environment, with that particular person. Just because you've been doing that for years, or you've invested your time, your finance, your emotions in the person, but that was the wrong person to begin with. Just because a lot of time had passed and you've been continuously making this wrong choice and this mistake, it doesn't mean you have to hold on to it. Very often we think that, oh my gosh, but I've been already married for 15 years, or I've been already with this person for 3 years. We were seeing each other, like, for international relationship, for Russian and Ukrainian. But many men complain that, okay, it didn't go anywhere. Unfortunately, there are Ukrainian women that are true manipulators. They know your weak spots. They don't have the right feelings for you. They don't have real affection for you. They find excuses. Oh, my parents. Oh, my childhood. Oh, it was so bad in USSR. It's such a BS. When that starts, pack your bags and walk away. Because one thing that any woman, any decent, any real woman really desires, it's a relationship. It's a relationship that's affectionate, that warm, supportive. And if you had been that person, if you were that man that was doing all these things, but you get nothing in return, all these years later, don't believe the words. Look at the actions. If actions do not follow the words, just move on. Because person that's with you might get secondary benefits from you, might have you as a backup plan. Many beautiful Ukrainian women have a number of men, and they just enjoy their life. And when you see them only one time in 3, 4, 5, 6 months or a year, they don't even think about you. You are living life here. You miss them. You try. You're thinking about getting lawyers. They don't think about you. They doing their thing, unless they are in consistent contact, unless they are available for communication, unless you have conversation and they are preparing their life for life with you. Don't lie to yourself. Sometimes you have to look truth in the eyes, and it can be very painful. But again, the most precious resource in this life is time. Sometimes it's almost like you have to have a day of truth with yourself, and go through your friends and people, and think about, and maybe notice somebody who behind the scenes was always there, who is supporting you deep inside, who cares about you. And somebody who always on the surface, who never reaches out, who never just kind of really taking your time. Sometimes you have to have the moment of truth. And often we create in our mind the desirable, which is a lot different than the what's reality is. So it's okay to make mistakes. We all make them. The only people that do not make mistakes is the people that do not do anything. But answering, guys, these emails about, some of them, my advice about relationships that didn't go anywhere, about the relationships that hurt, and you feel like, you spent so much time and effort, but they didn't progress. All this, consider that's your choice, and the pressure only comes down to what is good for you. Because no relatives, not your, not your mom, not your dad, if you still have them, not your brothers, sisters, your friends, they're not gonna live your lives, they're not gonna feel for you. So if you are embarrassed to say them something didn't work out, if you have any other excuses, think about that probably in the end it's still not gonna work out, but many more years will pass, and the only thing, you will still do it, you will still separate from that person. The only thing you will regret, you hadn't done it earlier. That's the thing that the most people, I would say probably 90% of people who walked away from relationships that never was fulfilled, never was really working out, they maybe even knew right away it was a mistake. Finally they decided to finish it, and the only thing they say, I so much wish I would do that earlier. So mistakes are okay, but when we do them long enough, it doesn't mean we have to stick with them forever. It doesn't mean if we were wrong on something that we should keep going with that. I believe it's somewhat an thing of arrogance. Oh, I don't want to admit that that was a mistake. I don't want to admit that we are wrong for each other. I don't want to admit I spent 10 years or 5 months in a wrong situation. So sometimes you have to admit things, and it's fine. And the good news is that all the struggle and pain and frustrating relationship, very often, if you figure out your issues, and if you actually analyze some things and start working on yourself and create in your mind exactly what you want, that very relationship will come into your life. Thank you.